Look, I'm going to be honest about this. We are absolutely, unequivocally, 100% cooked. Not just in the gaming space, but as an actual society. Don't worry, I'm not getting political. But I want to be real with you guys. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not rage baiting. I'm not engagement farming. I'm telling you exactly what is happening right now and what we're seeing in the space of not only video games, but also in the tech space as well, goes far beyond just the RAM crisis. We are in a space right now where every app, website, and company is literally on their hands and knees trying to do anything they possibly can to get one little thing that they all really need, and that is your ID. And for the past 8 months, I've been covering stuff that's been happening in the gaming space about this, concerning either privacy or the fact that companies are trying to control what you can and cannot buy, whether it's payment processors like Visa and MasterCard, restricting what Steam can sell you, depending upon what they feel is appropriate for you to buy. At the same time, watching as other major countries and companies are trying to force each other to require you to put your ID into their systems, so that way they can keep you safe and keep their users safe as well, even though no one is ever safe, because we've seen this happen already. Discord getting hacked multiple times, IDs and everything being doxed all over the internet, and DMs and everything else being fed into AI to determine whether or not you're the appropriate age. But unfortunately, things are getting even worse, and it's going to get even deeper. That's what she said. Because right now, we're not looking at the actual fact that companies want your ID. No, we're not looking at how governments want you to put your ID online either. No. What we're seeing right now is governments and the actual laws are trying to force operating systems to require you to put your ID into that system so you could actually use it and send that info to a database that nobody knows about. And this impacts everyone, because if you're using Mac OS, if you're using any Windows OS, or even any Linux distro, they're trying to force into law to make you put your ID into that OS to verify your age and make sure you're an actual adult. Not about safety, but about control and monitoring. And this is why I'm so incredibly upset. I've been super into Linux recently because of what Valve has been doing with Proton, especially with my Steam Deck. And I'm even more excited about what's going to be happening with the Steam machine as well. But right now we are in a pickle because it looks like Valve may be the last bastion of having an operating system where you don't have to require to put your identification in to use the actual software just to play a video game. Because according to the Lunduk Journal on Twitter saying this, a new national law has been introduced to require all operating systems to have mandatory age verification. House Resolution 8250 says, quote, to require operating system providers to verify the age of any user of an operating system and for other purposes. The federal bill was introduced by Representative Josh Gottheimer, Democrat from New Jersey, and is co-sponsored by Elise M. Stefanik, Republican from New York. The full text of the bill has not yet been made publicly available, but is expected shortly. So like I said, I'm not getting political because the side doesn't matter. We've got Dems doing it. We've got Republicans doing it. Every other single person in the actual space right now is trying to pass any law they possibly can to make sure that your ID is put into the operating system of the actual core device. Want to play a video game? Too bad. Give me your ID. Want to go ahead and use your phone to check the weather? Not before you hand over your ID as well. And it's kind of wild when you think about it. Why on earth would any government official or any other company want my actual ID as well? They've already got all my telemetry, they've got all my data, they've got my location, they got my social, they got my credit card info. Why do they want your ID? Isn't that strange? Isn't it weird when you think about it? And there's only one simple answer. They want to connect the dots. If they have all of your data, including who you are as a physical ID and a digital one, they can put the two together and then monitor you on every single aspect, regardless of the device, regardless of what you're doing or how you're using the actual internet. They want complete and total control. And they're going to force this onto Linux, onto other distros, and make everything else illegal unless you put your ID into that system, and those operating systems and distros comply with what's going on. And if you think they won't, watch this. Microsoft to introduce age assurance measures in Singapore. Microsoft will introduce measures across Microsoft and Xbox storefronts to meet age assurance requirements in Singapore, in accordance with the Online Safety Code of Practice for App Distribution Services. Microsoft users in Singapore will have multiple options to complete age assurance for our stores, giving people flexibility when prioritizing privacy. I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that because there is no privacy when you're handing over your actual identification. But hey, let's continue, shall we? Users will be able to verify their age through SingPass, secure facial age estimation using a selfie, or by uploading an official government ID, such as a national ID, driver's license, passport, or residence permit. If Microsoft is doing this in Singapore and they're also adding this into the UK, who's to say where they're going to be moving next? Oh, I know, basically the entire planet, and they're pushing it forward and asking for all that identification. And the real problem is this: once this goes into effect and you're using it on Windows and you say, you know what, screw this, I'm moving to Linux, who's to say all these laws and bills being passed won't impact Linux as well? Because clearly they absolutely will. And what makes matters even worse is it looks like the only company that's going to be standing in the way of all of this is going to be Valve. Surprise, surprise, because they're the only ones who stood up against the UK and said, you know what, we're not going to take anyone's ID. What we are going to do instead, though, is ask for a credit card, which means you have to be 18 years of age in the UK to have a credit card in the first place, thereby circumventing having to collect your ID at all. And that's the part that's incredibly terrifying, and why I think Valve and Steam are the only ones left in this wake that are trying to do whatever they can to stop this from happening. We have so many things happening to this company all at once. The lawsuits that are piling up, everybody targeting them for a monopoly, and now at the same time trying to fight against payment processors and even digital ID as well. But it gets even crazier, because not only are we seeing this happen on our side of the internet, it looks like the normies are also catching on. According to NBC News on Twitter, saying this: what began as an effort to bolster kids' safety online has morphed in recent months into a broader debate over privacy and anonymity on the internet. With the article saying this: mandatory age verification, which requires websites and apps to confirm or estimate users' ages before they grant access to certain content, has continued to gain traction nationwide as more states pass laws mandating some form of it. Supporters argue the rules are necessary to protect children from harmful content, including. Critics counter that age verification could backfire and undermine privacy and free expression online. A wave of litigation targeting social platforms, including the recent bellwether verdict in Los Angeles, which held Meta and Google liable for social media addiction, and the ongoing child safety lawsuits against Roblox, has also put increasing pressure on companies to age-gate their products. But digital rights and free speech advocates suggest there are better ways to make children's online experiences safer that wouldn't involve mandating age assurance. When you have a news outlet like NBC, who is literally going around and is the most normie casual thing of all time, in that article talking about Discord, talking about Persona, talking about all the lawsuits happening with Roblox and age verification, honey, you've got a big storm coming. Because now it's hit an actual boiling point across the board. We're seeing actual bipartisan bills trying to be passed into laws in the US to mandate age verification at an operating system level. This impacts every single person, regardless of what platform of games you play on, whether it's on PC, whether it's on Xbox, PlayStation, or even Nintendo. The entire planet is trying to come together to collect your ID and then match who you are online with who you are in real life, and then monitor you every second of the actual day, even if you just want to relax after going to work all day as well. Lane on the blockchain said this: bill introduced to the House today requiring OS providers to verify the age of any user. Not really sure how they will make this enforceable for Linux distros, but I have no doubt it'll pass and get strengthened over time. Kozak says, I love how I lived long enough to see the usage of computer go from don't put your personal information anywhere online to give your ID to your computer so you can use Google. And the funniest part about this is covering stuff like the payment processor initiative that was happening with Steam, and now this stuff with the real ID and age verification on the operating system level, and how it's going to impact basically every gamer across the board. I've been called everything from hyperbolic to a rage baiter to a conspiracy theorist. Well, I guess growing up playing games like Deus Ex and Metal Gear Solid 2 being 25 years plus ahead of their time really does put a bit of a skew on things now, doesn't it? Remember, MGS2 was not supposed to be a manual write-in. Don't worry, GW and Lolly Lule Lo aren't real guys. They're not going to come after you or try to use any sort of AI to go ahead and predict what's going to be happening in the future or what kind of information you're going to be getting depending upon the kind of community you want to be a part of. It's almost like Kojima's been ahead of the curve the entire time. And I'm going to be real about this, right? Look, I know there's going to be some incredibly smart people who use Linux distros who are going to be able to bypass exactly what's going on. But the problem is, how far is the government going to stretch to enforce this kind of rule? Right now, the UK has been trying to ban VPNs. And if Linux becomes too much of a pain in the ass because of all the forks and distros of what's been going on, then why wouldn't they try to ban Linux as well and then enforce that onto you every single time, directly impacting Valve, the Steam machine, and every other company trying to use that as an open platform to either make video games or to play video games at all? This impacts me directly as someone who really wants to see what Valve is going to be doing in the future and what Linux has been doing to progress in the space of video games. I don't want the government involved in my gaming, and I don't want them involved in trying to collect my ID because I want to play Crimson Desert for a couple of hours, or maybe just relax and unwind for a little bit with Femboy Fuda House. But the problem with all of this isn't the bill itself and what's been happening. The problem is how incredibly vague this whole thing actually is and what they can do to pressure you. The Lunduk Journal also said this: the full text for HR 8250, the proposed federal law which would require all operating systems to implement age verification, has just been made publicly available. It is short, poorly written, clearly not at all thought out, and almost entirely devoid of specifics. Here are some key points. The bill does not specify how age verification would work at all. It states that the Federal Trade Commission would have 180 days to specify the exact mechanism and requirements for age verification within the operating system. The Federal Trade Commission would also specify data storage protection requirements, as well as requirements for how the operating system must provide access to collected user data. This bill would apply to all operating systems, everything from Windows to Linux to embedded systems. Yes, even to a smart refrigerator. The operating system definition is incredibly broad. The law will be considered in effect 1 year from the date it is enacted. Violations of the law will be handled under the Federal Trade Commission's Act. It is given a short title of a Parents Decide Act. Well, you know what's funny? I'm a parent and I didn't decide for you to ask for my goddamn ID in any sense of the word to use my fridge. How's that, huh? Get out. Get out of here, okay? No step on snake. I don't want you anywhere near anything that I have to use on a daily basis. Not my gaming systems, not my PC, and especially not my goddamn fridge. This whole thing is an absolute nightmare, and what's even crazier is every time people like myself and so many others speak up and say, hey, look, this is not good, we get labeled as crazy. You're nuts, Alex. Nothing's gonna happen bad. Everything's gonna be just fine. They just want your ID. And then what happens 48 hours later? It looks like everything gets hacked, everything gets leaked, and I myself am wearing the W chain once again. But the problem is, every time you cash in a W, you gotta hand yourself an L, and it looks like everything is gonna be coming up L's across the board. Because Ursula von der Leyen on Twitter said this: "It is time for parents to raise their children, not platforms. The European Age Identification app is ready." That's right, the European Age Identification app, an app designed to verify who you are by your age across the entire board. But you know what's funnier about this? Not a few hours after they announced this app, things took a turn. Readers added context that they thought you might want to know. The European Age Identification app already has security concerns regarding how it handles the image you upload. It keeps the image unencrypted on devices if a user backs out of the process, which is a problem for shared devices. Paul Reviews, under security consultants on Twitter, said this: "Hacking the EU age verification app in under 2 minutes. During setup, the app asks you to create a PIN. After entry, the app encrypts it and saves it in their shared preferences directory. 1, it shouldn't be encrypted at all. That's a really poor design. 2, it's not cryptographically tied to the vault, which contains the identity of the data. So an attacker can simply remove the PIN ENC, PIN IV values from the shared press file and restart the app. After choosing a different PIN, the app presents credentials created under the old profile and lets the attacker present them as valid. Other issues: rate limiting is an incrementing number in the same config file. Just reset it to 0 and keep trying. Quote, use biometric auth is a Boolean, also in the same file. Set it to false and it just skips that step. Seriously, von der Leyen, this product will be the catalyst for an enormous breach at some point. It's just a matter of time." Brother, it didn't even take a day for the damn app to get hacked. And these actual lizard people skinwalkers want us to give them our IDs? No, honey, I don't think so. We're not rolling like this at all, especially if you get between me and my damn video games. But the problem is it's not going to end there. Every other company is going to try and use whatever avenue they can to make it feel like giving your ID is going to be a good thing, when in reality, all they want to do is connect the dots to who you are, put them together, and then go ahead and say, look, this is what this person said online. Go ahead and arrest them. Here's what they said and who they are. Go ahead and find them. They want to have total, absolute control, and they want to connect your online persona to your actual real life one, so that way they can exact whatever consequence they want on top of you at all. Say something nasty and surly in your Modern Warfare 2 lobby, knock knock, who's at the door? 5-0, time to go, baby. And that's exactly what they've been dying for, what they've been itching for, having total direct control over every piece of tech that you have, taking away every bit of your freedom, freedom to enjoy yourself, freedom to relax, freedom to buy any product that you want that you're legally allowed to buy. And then they want to remove that from you as well. Complete control across the board. And if you don't believe me, this is exactly how these companies are going to do it. According to Dexerto, Roblox has reached a $12.5 million settlement with the state of Nevada and will implement increased protections for young users. Increased protections for young users? I wonder what they're going to do. You know who knows? Creekcraft knows. Let's see what he had to say. Creekcraft on Twitter says this: so Roblox reached a settlement on their lawsuit with the state of Nevada, saying, quote, it will implement age verification for all users. What does that mean? Source, Reuters. With the screenshot saying this: as part of the settlement, which Ford said was memorialized in a court filing on Wednesday, Roblox will pay $10 million to support children's programs in Nevada over the next 3 years and spend another $2.5 million on an awareness campaign about minor safety online and a staff law enforcement liaison, Ford said. It will implement age verification for all users based on age estimation technology and government-issued identification, and will monitor account behavior to ensure that users have not lied about their ages, Ford said. This is what they're going to do. They're going to pull at your heartstrings across the board and make you feel like, hey guys, listen, we're the good guys. We're trying to protect the kids. We want to make sure that they're safe. And the only way they're going to be safe online is to make sure that you remove any right to privacy that you've ever had in your entire life on the internet. Go ahead, hand it over. And you know what's funny? Just kind of like popped into my head right now. Remember the entire debacle with Helldivers 2 and PlayStation wanting your actual email to sign into PSN? And they were all saying, it's not a big deal, guys. It's just an email. Everybody has an email. It's not really a problem. Just put your email in and you can play the game. And there was one person specifically who had a really great point. His name is Asmongold. And the point he made was this: if it's not a big deal to put my email in, why is it a big deal for you to have my email? Same concept. We're not doing anything bad, guys. We just want to protect the kids. Put your ID in the operating system. It's not a big deal. Well, if it's not a big deal, why are you trying to enforce laws to force me to put my ID into the operating system to play a damn video game in the first place? The absolute insane clown behavior of this entire planet right now, trying to force age verification across the board, trying to screw over every gamer they possibly can, and then force age ID verification on the operating system level, not the application level, the OS level. And forcing these rules and restrictions onto every OS imaginable is a huge problem, while watching Microsoft literally bend the knee and force users across other continents and countries, while you can see that entire thing encroach slowly onto us in the US. And then having Valve being the last man standing, trying to go through and say, no, we're not gonna do it. And what terrifies me the most is that I feel Valve will fall because of this. And I think everybody is going after Valve, whether it's lawsuits, whether it's actual claims of monopolies or anything else, because they don't want to implement this ID verification. When Valve themselves found a loophole in the UK, that's when things took off on the wrong space. When we saw payment processors go after Valve about adult-rated games, that's when things got even worse. And my biggest fear is, in fact, this: the one storefront, the one company that puts their consumers and customers first, that has been providing you with an open source, open available operating system that they've been monitoring and working on for the past couple of years to make things better for you and for everybody else, is going to be completely under attack, especially when they're putting out their brand new device and their brand new system. And look, even though this was an incredibly heavy topic of a video, I still want to hear what you guys got to say in the comment section down below. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? I want to see what you guys think. And speaking about what you guys have to say, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Paul McCurry 6131 saying this: I can't even pretend to give a f anymore. Brother, you, me, and the entire internet as well. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, hot takes in the gaming industry, Steam Deck videos, and fanboy content, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access and emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. But you know what? If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down to the live streams Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, while I get insulted by my entire chat with TTS. Trust me, it's a hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. If you want even more of me, don't worry. I've got a second channel for you as well. It's called Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. New videos go up every single Monday, and maybe even someday streaming daily on there too. Link to the channel is in the description down below. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!